Hello and welcome to another Budget Model Railways how-to video. So I hope you enjoyed the recent one with the loco being restored. So what we're going to do now is restore some coaches. You will also have seen my video from a long time ago about how I managed to get some goods wagons very cheap. And what I wanted to do, I've been looking for a little while on trying to get some coaches to do up. So these are the usual Hornby four-wheel coaches. These cost me 50p each, which when you look at the state of them, is probably a fair price. Now you can actually buy these. These are the Annie and Clarabelle ones. So I've picked a few of these up over the years for around 50p or a pound. So when people say to me, oh, well, I can't get things that cheap. Actually, if you have a bit of patience and look around, you can usually get these. These are in a particularly bad way. So what somebody's done is they've tried to paint the roof and then changed their mind and cleaned it. Somehow, when they've tried to paint the bodies, and they've found quite a nice colour, I don't know how, but they've got it all over the running gear. So these are in a bit of a state, but we're going to get these looking really nice, and we'll then have some coaches for 50p each. So to start doing these, we've got to get them apart. That's relatively straightforward, I believe, on these. I've done them before. It should be just a question of popping these windows out, because the windows and the roof are usually one part. There we go. Once you get a bit out, it comes out quite easily. Let's just see if we can do the other one. It's that easy. Now, I don't know if we can get the bodies off without breaking them. I think there's some tabs in there. So let's just see if... Ah, yes. Yeah, they just pop out. There we go. So we've got a nice body we can work on. We've got the underframe there, and we've got the roof and windows. So that gives us a nice, easy thing to work with, and we'll show you what we do next. So the bear. So here we are getting ready for the first stage, and you can see I've got our new team member, Budget the Bear, supervising how to do this. Can't do any job without him. So fortunately, sometimes Model Railways links in with real life. I've just done the washing up, and at the same time, get your, whatever it is you're going to repaint, and just give them a quick wash in some hot soapy, and this, well, detergent, basically water. The reason we do that, and then I'll just rinse them off, is especially with old bits and pieces, you quite often get grease, just people handling them, leftover residue from paint and all sorts of things, and that will stop the undercoat and the other paint from sticking properly. So it's always just a simple little job really, just to give them a bit of a clean. There we go, all done. So we've got the chassis here. Now, as I say, I think somebody's tried to spray paint these, so it's a bit of a mess. Now, I know from doing other wagons, it's really fiddly to try and hand paint these, and I happen to have a cheap can of black spray paint. So Doug's going to spray paint these for me. Now, interestingly, only one's got a weight, so I'll have to replace that with a bit of a lead. First thing we can do before we spray them is obviously take the wheels out, which really couldn't be that simple. That's simpler. They're just soft plastic and the wheels just pop out, and then Doug now will spray paint those, and we'll get on.
So the spray paint we're going to be using for this is this black matte by 151. This is designed for wood, metal and brick, but it works quite well on plastic without a primer, and just so we don't inhale any of it in, I have a gas mask. And the basic use for spray paint is you need to shake it for about a minute and then apply lots of light coats. So let's start. Alright, so basically we're going to get this. I'm going to start that side there, like that. And you just want to go about 30 centimetres away. I tend to do about 15 centimetres, despite what the instructions say. And then do lots of light coats like this. Now, it does tend to move, which is a bit annoying, but you can just get your finger in there and hold it. One thing about the skin, it comes off skin alright, but it does not come off your fingernails very easily. So I'm just going to paint these now and come back when I'm done. Alright, so that's the two of them done. Now, as you can see, this is why we don't use spray paint very often. Big mess, and it's on the grass as well, and it's all over my hand. Now, it comes off hands alright, as I've said, but fingernails, that will take a while to get off. So now you need to leave that to dry for about half an hour to touch dry before you can actually touch it. but they tend to fully dry after about 2 hours. So it's quite quick drying. So we'll come back when that's happened.
Okay, so there we go. Dunn's done a really good job of spray painting the underframes. We just used this 151 spray paint, £2.50 from a discount store, so not expensive. And then we've just popped the wheels back in. Now what we're going to do is just show you the undercoating of these. Obviously just using the same paints we used to do the loco. The only thing to bear in mind is you do need to push the paint in a little bit to get it in all the detail in here. But equally you don't want the paint too thick, because later we're going to be trying to pick some of this detail up. So I'll carry on with that, and then a bit like Blue Peter, when we're done, I can't get the camera right, when we're done you'll get one like that. So here we go, all nicely undercoated. In fact, Douglas did one of these for me, and the roofs as well. So what I'm going to use actually this lovely, really dark chocolate brown colour that we used to do the loco the other week. And then they'll be matching. I've got a slightly stiffer brush here because I want to work it right into the detail. And the things to remember here are the inside of the window frames as well. Like that. Now I'll work through this. I'm not sure, we might do a time lapse, but I just really wanted to show that, you know, if you've got nice paint, halfway decent brushes, anybody really can do this. And when these coaches are done, they're going to look quite special. There's quite a lot of people saying, you know, people don't have the skills to model anymore. And what I'm really keen to do is actually they're not that tricky. If you can pick a paintbrush up, you can probably do this. I'm no great master model maker really. I'm just quite happy to have a go at things. And ultimately, as always, it's your project. So if you're happy with the finish of it when it's done, that's really all that matters. So let's turn our attention now to the roofs. So you've seen us do the undercoat. So what we've got here is a nice cream colour RC417. And we're just going to brush that on. Nice and simple with a soft brush. Same as before. And you have to just stipple it a little bit around the roof vents and things. One thing that helps when you're painting, if you're not used to brush painting, is to keep the brush strokes going one way, and that gives you a smoother finish. So you work round the little indentations like that, and then do your bigger brush strokes. Now what I've got here, this is one I did yesterday, so this is ready for its second coat, which should begin to put the colour on nicely. And I'm hoping that we won't need a third coat, but so there we go. So that's 2 coats on that one, and that one's just waiting for its second coat, and it looks like we might get away with 2 coats. So what we're going to do here to add some detail this, on these there's these very heavily marked paint lines. So what we're going to do, we're going to infill those in paint effectively to give us that a nice dashed gold line along the carriage top and bottom. This is actually a little fiddly, but not quite as bad as it looks. The trick's to have a very narrow brush, have enough paint on it but not too much. And then what we're doing, we're just using the plastic line there, the moulded on line, to let the paint fill in. Like that. And as before, it doesn't matter if it goes a little bit wrong, because we can just simply overpaint it. But obviously this is going to take some time. One of the problems is obviously we've got 3 coats of paint on this now. So it's not as, the plastic's not as raised as it was. There we go. And you don't want to watch all these, but what I'll do is I'll carry on, and then when I'm done, we can show you what it looks like. So there we go. I've spent a little time, got all the nice, neat little gold panels on there, on all 4 sides. A little bit of touching up, a little bit of brown, a little bit of gold to get them right, but they've come up, I'm sure you'll agree, looking rather nice. So relatively straightforward to put these back together. Got to clip the bodies back onto the chassis. Should just clip on, hopefully. There we go. Just do the same with this one. You can hear that click in. And then relatively straightforward again. The roofs just push in like that. So there we have it. 2 rather smart looking coaches. Started life very tatty. Doug will do his usual bit at the end, showing you the transformation. And I'm just going to show you these now on the layout with the loco. So here are the finished coaches, looking very smart with the loco in the same colour scheme, all brown and gold. So I'm quite pleased with that, especially when you think that all those 3 together cost me the grand total of less than £5. So this is what we started with, some really rather sad looking coaches. They've had their roofs mucked about and somebody's had a poor attempt at painting the bodies. So they really don't look over happy. And the loco looking in similar condition. In fact, this was probably, if anything, a little bit sadder. And here we have lots of shots and photos of the finished items, showing what a transformation we've been able to make, really with just some very simple painting techniques and on our usual low budget.
Hi, thanks for watching the video and for the nice comments. Click on the left for a previous video in this series, click on the right for another video you might enjoy, and please don't forget to click to subscribe, like, comment, etc. Thanks again.